240 AIO stronger or equal maybe with the 360 AIO. Today we're going to talk about the Phanteks Glacier One 240 T30, which has quite an interesting specifications when it comes to comparing it to other AIOs in general, basically. Because first of all, we have a specially designed fan T30, well, two fans since we're talking about 240 millimeter radiator, and we have much thicker radiator, so it's 38 millimeters. So everything else is standard dimensions when we're talking about the radiator, the height, the length, but the thickness is 38 millimeters. So what's it all about? We still have the Asetek 7th generation pump, which is quite cool, and we already done a bunch of tests with the 7th generation of Asetek pump. But we have the radiator, which is different than the standard Glacier One 240 mph that we did already, and the T30 fan, which we have, well, two fans as I already stated. So let's check out some main specifications. As in all Glacier One AIOs from Phanteks, we have a full cover cap with the RGB infinity mirror, so you have basically a clean full cover design, tempered glass window, 2mm thick aluminum cover with anthracite gray color, smooth and diffused LEDs. You might have seen that already in my past videos, and it's quite easy to mount it. It's just a secure magnetic mount that you place on the pump top. When we're talking about the T30 120 PW fan, we're going to talk more details about it in a specific video just for that, but it has an exceptionally high airflow design. It kind of does have unparalleled noise normalized performance, which we'll get to that part in that video, and it has 3-mode switch. So this is quite cool for cooling because it has hybrid performance and advanced. When we're talking about clearance, you have a low profile pump cap to reduce the height, rotary fittings which stay close to the pump to maximize the ram clearance, which we already had issues with other AIOs that blocked the fourth ram or at least pushed it a bit on the side. And let's check out the box content now. So it's a bit of a different, of course, but we shall see when, if you remember, I did loads of tests with 360 and 240 and even 280 radiators, so it's going to be, well, not radiators, AIO, so it's going to be interesting to check out what we got here. First of all, the box content, of course, the package content here in the list and how to install it. You have the infinity mirror pump cap here with the RGB lights. You connect it to your other Phanteks parts that are also DRGB, or for instance, if you have a case that also supports the DRGB LED button, well, that actually has a DRGB button on top, so you can adjust everything. We get two T30 fans, which are 30 millimeters of thickness than your standard 25 millimeters of thickness. You have all the accessories here, so you have additional thermal paste, you have the tube clips, 3 of them, you have the screws for your radiator and for your fans, mounting brackets for your Intel and AMD standard sockets, and these are the cables for Glacier One. In other words, we have the PWM splitter for your fans, and you get the cable connection for your DRGB. And finally, we get to the most interesting part, except for the T30 fan, of course. This is the thickness of the radiator. So basically what they're stating is that you're getting with the 240 millimeter radiator, well, 240 AIO, you're getting the performance equal, or maybe in some situations, if you come up with that kind of 360, you get even better performance. Now, of course, we're going to test it out and do benchmarks and see the temperatures, loads, and everything else. The interesting thing is they stated that it can cool down a high-end CPU. Luckily for us, we have AMD Ryzen 9-15900X, so we're going to stress test it properly and see the specifications. As you can see, this is the thickness. 38 plus 30, you have 68 millimeters of thickness. So this has to be calculated properly when you're buying a case and buying this AIO. Just in the situation that you decide to place your AIO on top, and then you don't have enough clearance with the RAMs, you don't have enough clearance with heat sinks on the motherboard and similar stuff. So usually you get 50 millimeters of thickness. The radiator is 25 and the fans are also 25. So this is okay, cool. Thicker radiator, better fans, cool, better, logical, right? But you do need to take into consideration. So my best advice is to place it on front if you don't have clearance on top, and of course make the pipes go higher than the pump so the air doesn't get stuck inside here. As I stated before, you have a pre-applied thermal paste on your cold plate and you have additional thermal paste here. So basically I can talk for hours just for this, but let's talk about benchmarks inside Phanteks Eclipse P360A, just because I did already a review on that case with Glacier One 240 mph. So we could get some sort of a comparison, even though I have currently a stronger CPU than I had then. And now we're going to go with 5900X. So let's check it out. As I said at one part of the video, you do have to take care of the thickness of the radiator and the fans, because the radiator is 38 millimeters and the fans are 30, so that sums up to 68. If you remember the video about the Eclipse P360A, I was actually talking about that part, placing the radiator on top, even with the Glacier One 240 mph, that you need to firstly connect all the cables at the top and then place the radiator and the fans, because you don't have any space. Unfortunately, I forgot about it, placed the radiator and the fans. I actually took 5 to 10 minutes to connect the PWM at the top for the pump and for the fans, but nevertheless. So here is the thing. We have two T30 for Phanteks at front and we have one at the back. They're all configured at hybrid mode at 1200 RPMs, and at the top we have two more on the radiator, which are left at the, let's say, default stage, the performance one, because after all we're trying to get the actual temperature with the performance and trying to compete with 360 radiator. Now here is the catch. After a whole hour of testing in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, benchmarking the processor at 100% load on 5900X, so that's 12 cores, 24 threads, 105 watts of TDP, we got actually stable 68 Celsius degrees. Now to compare it with something else, in the same case with the Glacier One 240 mph AMD Ryzen 9 3900X, same core count, same thread count, we got 67 Celsius degrees, which is 1 Celsius degrees lower than this one. But then again, it's a different processor, it's a newer processor. I'm talking about 5900X, and we could expect a bit of a higher temperature. Not that much, as you can see, 1 Celsius degrees, it's nothing drastical. But then you take from Fractal Design Celsius S36 with 10700K, 8 cores, 16 threads, 125 watts of TDP, you get 66 Celsius degrees. It was tested in a nice air-flowed case, and that's 2 Celsius degrees, 4 cores less, full load. And also for another comparison, NZXT Kraken X63 with 10700K, 8 core, 16 threads, again 66 Celsius degrees. So guys, I don't know what to say, and this computer is right here near me. You'll never have your computer so close and blowing the air directly to your face like I am right now. But to be honest, the PC at the back that I have, my personal rig, is currently louder, even though it's 1 meter behind me, it's currently louder than this PC right here. So I can't measure the exact decibel noise with my meter because it starts from 30 decibels to 130 decibels. This room isn't completely isolated, and comparing to some other test chambers where they actually test the fan noise and how they test it, zero echoing, stuff like that, it's a completely different story. So this can't be tested in a regular environment, because when I use my decibel meter, which starts again from 30, when the processor is in full load, it measures above 55 decibels. So echo, variety of other sounds coming from my PC and anything else coming from the outside. So you can't take that into consideration since I don't have a full sound isolated room. In any case, it's quieter than the PC that is further from me. The temperatures is insane nice, especially on the 5900X. I think I tested with other air coolers. It was above 70, 75, 76. Other AIOs were going around 70, 72. And comparing it with other processors and other AIOs to get difference in core counts, this one beats them all. So I would say a 5900X, 68 Celsius degrees with quite nice decibel noise. I would say this one is definitely a winner when it comes to performance. So since I stated the performance, I think it's quite right to give PC Crazy performance badge, especially because of the T30. The radiator thickness, it always depends. You can always place, if you're going for a custom loop, you can always place a thicker radiator for greater cooling capacity. But when it comes to fans that are actually producing the noise, not the radiator, then the performance is definitely something you'll get with this AIO. So guys, check out the links below for, first, because of the P360A, it's an incredible case. And the only thing I would suggest is placing the AIO on front to get more space at the top, and maybe place two T30 on top to get better outtake. First of all, link for the P360A again, and for the Glacier One 240 T30 AIO from Phanteks. Check the links. Don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button, and of course don't forget to click the notification bell for future content. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye bye.